Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day 2 of the 46th Mill Valley Film Festival. I get shivers just saying that number. We have a very special film for you. We're so happy to be showing the premiere of The Zone of Interest, and directed by Jonathan Glazer. We have some surprises for you as well. But we're just so thrilled to be showing this film, which was the prize winner at the Cannes Film Festival and has been recognized all throughout the world. And we're just so honored to be having this film with us tonight. You may see a QR code up here, and we're trying something a little different. We're going to be candid. When we started the film festival, there were a lot of times where things happened. When we built this theater, we had to stop construction in the middle of it. It was kind of plan B, but we had to do things we didn't want to do. And many of the things that we do with the community started at the first Mill Valley Film Festival. Our educational program, we had 2 or 3 workshops for kids, primarily in elementary school. Now we serve 20,000 kids, students, throughout the Bay Area. 3,000 alone will be here in person, internet throughout the year. We have a documentary festival in addition to the world-class Mill Valley Film Festival. You're in this amazing theater, one of the finest theaters in the United States, literally the first theater, historic theater to ever be designated by THX. And none of this could be done without our supporters. So first of all, I want to thank the Gruber Family Foundation and John and Linda Gruber, who have been generous, very generous supporters since before this theater was built. So thank you, John and Linda. And there have been other people who have helped us, of course, during this whole journey. And it is a journey, and it's a journey between not just this organization, but between us and the community, however you define it, as Marin County, the Bay Area, or the entire world, because our effect and what we bring to you is from all over the world. So we are asking you for help. Our earned revenue, people are coming back to the movies, but it's not like pulling a switch. You have to build back the audience. And this is proof that we can do this. And we have done it, and it's increasing by 30% a year. But we're concerned about right now and be able to give you all these incredible programs that we do day in and day out by our amazing staff. So I would like you to consider, anytime you want, between now and the end of the year, we are doing a campaign, the Resilience Campaign. We are doing the same things we've always done, but with $1 million less. So we have a goal of $500,000 from this individual campaign, and we hope you can participate. And you'll see this QR code up in the screen, you'll see it in the lobby, you'll see it all over, and we thank you in advance for whatever you can do. Now I'd like to, thank you. I'd like to introduce my esteemed colleague, Director of Programming, Zoe Elton.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you. Zone of Interest, as Mark mentioned, was at Cannes. It's, you may know, based on a book by Martin Amis, who curiously passed away in the middle of the Cannes Film Festival, the British writer of the book that it's based on. It really made waves at the festival, as well as winning an award. There was just, I mean, the word buzz doesn't really do it justice. This is an unusual film. It's a film like no other film I've ever seen before. It was, you know, it certainly made a really striking impact on everyone who saw it then, and I think probably those of us who will see it tonight as well. And far be it that it would be, you know, another Auschwitz story. It really goes far beyond the story on the surface to a much deeper look at who we are as human beings, and how human beings are in the world, and what makes human beings do things that they might if you confronted them, think are actually quite atrocious. So it's a film both of its time and for our time. And the experience of it is quite extraordinary. We do have a guest here tonight. And who better to talk about it than somebody who is a lead actor in the film? Christian Friedel, I'd like to invite him to the stage. So Christian will be here following the screening in conversation with Randy Myers, and I think it will be a great thing to do, and I'm very glad that you were able to come here. It's a long journey, and let's watch the film, and we'll bring you back up afterwards. Great. Thank you for being here, and have a great screening. Thank you, Christian.
Hi, everyone. Christian. So,
Thank you.
Yeah, Christian, this is a movie that you sit and you process. I had talked to you earlier today that this is something that it takes a while. I mean, I'm still processing when I saw it like a week ago to the day. And when hearing the music, coming back into the theater and seeing at that final scene, it affects you in so many ways. It's a great film. So anyway, when you, this is a portrait of people who do atrocious things, obviously, but it is in such a routine way. They go about their daily life, and it speaks to humankind that there's a capacity inside. To get in touch with that, could you talk a little bit about that, of when you read the script, when you saw that, and what you wanted to convey through?
Yes. First of all, I had an offer from a casting director to do a selfie to describe myself and to say why I did become an actor for a new project of Jonathan Glazer without knowing the script, without knowing the role, just knowing it's a new project of Jonathan Glazer, and I was really curious. And I had to decide to do it in German or in English, and I decided to do it in German because it felt more natural. And I think this was good. Jonathan doesn't speak German, but he maybe, and I'm sure he feel the truth, or he hear it, he feel it. And then I had an invitation to come to visit him and his longtime producer and friend Jim Wilson in a pub in London. And then I heard for the first time this incredible story. I don't know that fact that the family lives very close to the concentration camp, and he shares with me his thoughts, his vision. He shares very rare photographs of the family, and I read the script for the first time, and it was a phenomenal script, very precise, and then for me it was clear I want to be a part of Jonathan's vision, and I'm really grateful that now I'm a part of his vision. And it was a long and intense way to do this movie, and it was a long and a deep journey for me to dive into the darkness of this character. And what you said, for me too, it's a process to shake him out of my body. But it's a long process, because it was the most challenging part so far for me in my career. It was a long time. It was 2 years with this character inside of me, 2 years with this beautiful haircut, it was really tough. But I'm so grateful for this journey. So grateful to be a part of this project, and but it was long and intensive ride.
Well, and also it was originally, we talked about it was going to go through with COVID. It was delayed. So,
Yes, it was postponed for 1 year, but it gives us the opportunity for more preparation and investigation. And we had a long conversations, Jonathan and my lovely colleague Sandra Hüller. And these conversations for me was the key points and the most important things to dive into the character, to build the character. And then I had a lot of writing lessons because that was really important for this part. I lose weight for the summer part and gain weight for the winter part. It's a small detail, but it's important for the character. And I read his biography, I read some newspaper articles of this time, and I heard his original voice. You can hear his original voice at YouTube, because at the Nuremberg trial, you hear a voice not from a commandant in his prime, you hear a voice of a prisoner. It's really interesting to hear that, but it was for me important. But the most important thing were the conversations with John and Sandra, because there was a phenomenal script, but Jonathan Glazer, he's searching for the truth. He was searching for the whole process of the shooting was more a search than a shoot. So we had a multi-camera system. We had sometimes 10 cameras at the same time at the set. We shoot scenes simultaneously in different rooms or sometimes outside and inside, but the whole time we were alone at the set without technical interruptions, and we had all the time in the world to create the characters, to find the situation, to search for the truth, because it was a different kind of acting. We were not allowed to act. We were allowed to find ourselves into the characters, and all these conversations before the shoot helps us to find these characters.
But also to shoot there, to actually be in that presence, be on the grounds. That must have been a very, it puts you into the scene, obviously, but to get into that, to be there and to realize the enormity of what had happened. Could you talk about actually being on the grounds at Auschwitz, right outside, and that you weren't able to physically, you were able to shoot in the basement, right? But you weren't able to go because of protection. They actually build. Yeah. He built around there, correct?
Yes, we shoot the summer scenes 3 months in Auschwitz. It's not allowed to shoot scenes in the camp. It's only allowed to shoot documentary stuff in the camp, because in the 70s there were a film they made in Auschwitz, and they destroyed some things there, and then they decided not give the opportunity to future films. But our set was very close to the original camp and very close to the original house. And it was not, a family still lives there in this house, and the house is now an old house. But in this time it was a new building. It was built next to the camp. It was, I think the Höss family was the first family who lives there. And we shoot only one scene. Rudolf washes his genitals in the basement, and this is the original basement. And there was a tunnel system, and Rudolf has the opportunity to go unseen into the camp and come back. And I was in the original house, and I'm standing there in the children's room, and you see the chimney. You see this, and I can't believe how was it possible to live there, next to the camp, so close to the camp. And it was important for Jonathan Glazer to shoot there, and it was important that we are Germans, we speak German, and this was a detail, it was important for him, yes. And to be there, it was intense, because it was my first time I visited the original camp, the museum, and I was there. One half of my brain was the actor, and one half of my brain was the human being, Christian. And to feel the dimension, I cannot understand how was this possible. I can't believe it. And to find a way to understand it, I think this perspective of our movie gives us maybe a perspective. We need to see this, to understand this, that was human beings doing terrible things to other human beings. And yeah.
And they went through the whole routine of their life. It was so ordinary that the film opens with a scene that you just idyllic. Looks like, you know, their family going out and just spending the day, and while all the atrocities were going on. The sound in this film and the imagery, the sound is just harrowing. There's certain times it's unnerving, and should be, but you didn't have that when you were actually filming. How did Jonathan help with you to convey what he had as the vision with sound and everything to create this overall effect?
From the beginning, we know there will be a sound, there will be a second movie in it. I think this is two movies, one movie you watch and one movie you hear. And I think for us, it was good that we don't hear these sounds at the set. There were some particular scenes with a little sound system on set, especially for the children's so, because that was sometimes a kind of, I would call it method acting, or the search for, to observe us and to find a documentary style, so to looking through a window to this family. But it helps us. Without this, we know that there will be a sound collage in this movie, but it helps us to be ordinary, sometimes to find a boring situation or a normal situation, to have a birthday party, or to be alone in this house, or to hear radio. And then when I saw the movie for the first time, I was shocked to see a different movie. That it was not, I remember the scenes in a different way, and I was really shocked in this way. And for me, too, it was uncomfortable for me to watch this movie, because sometimes I was really surprised to see myself in this movie, and I don't want to see myself, or I want to see this evil person, but Jonathan wants to show us a perpetrator or an evil person. He wants to show us a father with his ordinary routine every day, a father who was interested in nature, loves his horse and his children, and yeah, they are a normal family, to have dreams, a house, a garden, a swimming pool. They live a life we want to live. So, but then Daddy goes to work, and his work is unbelievable, incredible, and horrible.
Yeah, and that's what makes it even more profound in a way that you actually see that. One of the things that I noticed when I first met you two is you have warmth in your eyes, but what you do convey in this film is just so icy cold. Your eyes are just dead, and it's so effective. And Sandra, it's got some of that too. Was that something that was hard for you to do, to sit there, because that's so anti? When I talk to you and get to know you, that's anti-you. Getting there, how were you able to stay in that for so long in that place?
It was hard in this way, because I was not allowed to do emotional things or to share my subtexts with the audience. And Jonathan said to me, the key to play this character could be, if you speak the truth, then lie with your eyes, and if your eyes speak the truth, then lie with your mouth. And this was a key sentence for me to create this character. And sometimes he said to me, don't share so many things with me, only thinking. And I have all these subtext inside of me and all these thoughts inside of me. And it was really hard because I had, for the first time in my life, a panic attack. And I was thinking, okay, maybe this is because of the COVID situation or something. But then I thought, okay, this method to do this, create this film, this character, this darkness inside of me, this historical context, the responsibility towards the victims, all these combinations, this cocktail was inside of me, and my body reacts. And maybe this is similar, like the body reacts from Rudolph at the end of the movie, because the body tells the truth. He never would say, I'm guilty, or he said in the Nuremberg trial, this is what I have to do. This was my work.
It was his job.
His job, like a farmer in a way. So, and I think it's fascinating in one way that we are masters of self-deception. We ignore the atrocities we made. So, and we compartmentalize us in a way. And we see him closed all the doors at the beginning of the movie. And this is one of John's favorite scenes, he told me, maybe to say something nice to me. But I think it's a really important scene, because it's not important what we're saying in this movie. Our sentences all, it's not important. But it's important what the people doing all the day, the routine, and the compartmentalize, and I think this is fascinating.
Well, the image of the shoes will haunt a lot of us forever, as it should. Was that always in the original screenplay, or did that evolve, having that last bit?
Yes, it was in a screenplay. There was no cut back to Rudolph. This decision was made in the post-production, and I think Sandra and me, we saw the movie for the first time in a little small cinema in Germany with her dog. It's her dog in this movie, and it wasn't. Her dog was really thrilled to see the movie, but it was an intense screening, and we saw this last scene, and we know, okay, there will be a documentary scenes with the cleaners of the original Polish cleaners of the museum, and then there's a cut back to Rudolph, and we watched together, and we said, wow, that was really surprising, and it's a great choice to do this, because we don't know if he look to his future, if he realize what he does or what he is doing. I don't think so, but there's maybe this cut is our view to this story. So, and I think it was a great choice.
You'd addressed about having the cameras in there. This is such a innovative way to actually make a movie, because you did not have direct direction from him, so to speak, when you were going through that house. Did you rehearse? Was there a lot of rehearsal to get that down, or was it go in, start shooting, and then having?
That was the first step. Go in and find the spontaneous way, or to find the truth or the situation. We had all the time in the world, because the technicians were in the basement, and Jonathan was next to the set in a separate house with 10 monitors, and in one ear he hears the original sound, and in the other ear the translator. and it was fascinating. And we had all the time in the world to create this and to play the scene as a one take. And then he came to us, he said some things, inspires us. Sometimes he said nothing. So, and then we did it again, and we were allowed to do some variations. There were no continuity or something. And that was really, really a luxury situation for us as actors. So to have all the time in the world. Sometimes we had only one scene per day. It's a luxury situation. And and without technical interruptions, sometimes we didn't realize where the cameras were. Or is the sound rolling or nothing? Is the improvisation important or not? That was sometimes Sandra and I had a phone call every night, and we were really unsure. And we asked, is this right what we are doing here? Is this wrong? Do you feel... It was really, really interesting. But I think for John's vision, it was important to have this system, this 360 degrees, and to feel in the house, this is our house now, or now we have a birthday party. And Sandra and I, we read the script, but all the other actors didn't know the script, and all the kids didn't know. And it was important that the kids, that was the first movie for the kids. So, and sometimes they came to the set, and Jonathan said, today you have a birthday party, or today you have a party in the garden. So, and then the kids have a party in the garden for 3 or 4 hours, and only Sandra and I, we did a loop. And when I came to the garden, I realized, okay, this is true. They have a party. So, and this is really, this system, this method works a lot to find and for our search. Because there was a phenomenal script, but Jonathan was searching for, is there something else, or is there something I don't know, or what, and that was really, yeah, to create material for his cutting process.
Well, it's such a different film than what we've actually seen from that perspective. We have not seen something like that. What do you actually hope that people will take away from Zone of Interest?
Yes, what I said, I hope that it's a movie about the Holocaust, yes. It's a movie in a historical context, yes. But I think this is a movie about us. It's a movie, if the political system changed, what decisions we made. I think the decisions we made defines us. And it's not if I'm black or white, if I'm gay or straight, or what religion I have. We all have this darkness inside of us. Jonathan said to me, there are 2 wolves inside of us, a good one and a bad one. And which wolf we feed the most will dominate us. And I think this is a true thing. I cannot say I'm a resistance fighter, or when I lived there in this time, yes, I want to be a resistance fighter. I cannot say that. If I have a family, if I have a dream, I'm afraid, I want to protect my family, what decision I made? This is a really complex thing, and to think about this, I think this is, for me, the main message of this movie, to remind us, and we live now in difficult political times, and in Germany, I realized the nationalism it's growing, and there's something under the surface, and I think we have to be aware what's inside of us. We have to learn from the history, but do we learn from the history when we see? But we have to. Yeah.
Christian, thank you so much. It's a powerful, amazing film. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.